Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to be talking about Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Episode 5. So this is a very Geto-centric episode. We kind of learn, to a certain extent. I feel like it was kind of sped up. But he ultimately ends up deciding that he is going to create a world with only Jujutsu sorcerers and nobody else. So essentially, curses can no longer exist if there's only Jujutsu sorcerers and nobody else. In the beginning here, we have Gojo essentially honing his powers. At this point, he has not created a domain yet, and he's also trying to figure out how to teleport over long distances. I don't know if that's something that every Jujutsu sorcerer can do, but those are two things that he says that he needs to learn how to do, is basically create a domain and also teleport over long distances. So that's kind of where we're at with the show. We then kind of see, as I said, very briefly here, we then see Geto just kind of struggling. He's having a hard time. Basically, Gojo is becoming powerful enough so he does all of his missions on his own. The more and more curses are coming. He's constantly tired and worn down because essentially his other teammate, is always teamed up with somebody else. And that leaves him typically alone as well. He's talking about how the taste of absorbing cursed spirits is like absorbing, it's basically like eating a dirty rag covered in shit and piss, I think is the best way that he ultimately ends up describing it. And I'm sure that's terrible. I'm sure that's very unpleasant. We then end up running into this girl here, and I'm already forgetting her name. But she asks him first and foremost, what kind of girls do you like? And then he ends up just, kind of having a conversation with her. We learn that she's a special grade. She never really takes in any missions. And then she was like, yeah, I don't really agree with what Jujutsu High School is doing. There's kind of ultimately two options. Either, have everybody, do a heavenly pact, like Wujiguro's father did, or have everyone become a Jujutsu sorcerer. Heavenly pacts apparently are very hard to come by. They don't happen very often. Somehow train everybody to be a Jujutsu sorcerer, or kill everyone that isn't. And that's essentially, she was like, these are three options, but none of them are like actually viable options. She's come to the conclusion. But Geto is thinking, are humans are regular people needed? Are they necessary? Is it something where we should just get rid of them and save them? Or is it something where we should kill all of them and make a more peaceful world? And that's kind of what he's touring with, throughout the entire episode. And they're just kind of talking, and then, one of his friends ends up dying in the process. And unfortunately, I am filming this on my laptop today, so I do apologize if the images are not reflecting what's on the screen. But, he essentially gets sent on a mission alone. They think it's a lower grade than it is. He ends up getting killed, and then he realizes that, being a Jujutsu sorcerer, you're basically, if you're super strong, you're just living to see all of your friends die. All the people you care about that are weaker than you, you're just watching them die. Because essentially, Jujutsu sorcerer's job is to exercise curses, and unfortunately, sooner or later, someone is going to die. And that's just how it is, unless you're Gojo, of course, because Gojo is, super powerful. But he then gets sent on his mission to this village, where these two people are calling these girls, like the devil, demon childs. They have some sort of curse associated with them, and this is where Geto is like, you know what? I don't like these people. These two girls are perfectly fine. Let them live their lives. And he ends up killing 112 people in this village, minus these two girls. So he just ends up, killing everybody. Gojo doesn't really believe it. The future principal doesn't really believe it. And there is now essentially a death warrant on Geto's head. And Geto is extremely powerful. So, I mean, even compared to Gojo, he is extremely powerful. And the chances of someone besides Gojo killing him are very, very slim. Like, it's not going to happen. So, they essentially call upon Gojo to kill Geto. I'm assuming that was a mission that was given to him, and then and then he ends up meeting him. The principal, says, why didn't you do it? And he was like, are you really asking me that? Because Geto is his friend. They've been teammates for a while now. I don't know how far back they know each other, but when you're told to kill essentially one of your best friends, no matter what they did, it's not something that's going to be taken lightly. It's not something that you're going to be able to just suck it up and do it. Like it's something where you have to contemplate it. Like what are the repercussions for the actions? Can I really do this? Can I kill my best friend? It's the equivalent. As I said, basically think about if you were ever in a situation where you had to kill your best friend. Because that is what Gojo is going through. That is what is in his headspace, and that is why he couldn't do it. And I do not blame him. Meanwhile, Geto then takes over the Star Organization. He wears something fancy. A couple people are not happy about it. He ends up killing them. He says he is going to rename the Star Organization to something else. So, throughout the episode, too, you hear the clapping, kind of like the clapping mocking him from the Star Organization. And I think he was debating whether or not he should have killed all of those people at the time. When, was it Rico? Yeah, I believe it was Rico. Got killed. He was debating whether or not he should have killed all of them. And I think he's thinking that he should have at the time. And it's like their clapping is constantly mocking him. We then go to seeing a young Fujiguro, and his personality is kind of the same. It's kind of ridiculous, that as a high schooler, he has the same personality as a first grader. He was talking about, what happens if I got sold into the Zen clan, and I'm assuming he did not get sold into the Zen clan, being that, his last name is not Zen. He doesn't really seem to have an association with them. But Gojo, this is where they meet, and Gojo ends up taking care of him after the fact. We then go to present day again, going back to, present day in the anime, 2018, because I'm assuming that's right around the time where it was originally written for the manga. And then we get to see the three of them. We get to see all three of them back together, Fujiguro, Itadori, and Obra. So that's kind of nice that we get to see it. I'm assuming they're all getting called on a mission. So I'm assuming this little episode arc of Gojo, backstory, Geto backstory, that's probably over with now, and now we're kind of getting back to present day, essentially. Which is nice. I mean, it was kind of cool seeing the backstory. From what I've been looking at and been told, next episode, I'm just going to go to a random image here. Next episode is probably going to be a summary of either all of these episodes or the first season. So from what I've been told, the next couple of episodes are going to be kind of summaries. So one might be a summary of what the last 5 episodes that just happened, and one might be a summary of season 1, roughly, which I kind of wanted as the first episode, but it's fine, because it'll remind me of stuff later on. And then I think at the end of August, there's going to be some sort of delay. I'm not really sure. I believe there's going to be some sort of delay around August 31st. There's not going to be an episode that week. And during that week, I will make a short video as well. So if there's not an episode or if there's a delay, I will just make a quick 2-3 minute video saying, hey, no episode this week. I'll see you next week. Something along those lines. Overall, this episode is going to we'll give it a 7 out of 10. I've been giving a lot of 7 out of 10s to this series so far. And that's kind of where it is, because you kind of are doing Gojo's backstory, but then in a quick 7-minute segment, we're just going to throw in Geto's backstory. Like, I don't see why there couldn't have been a little bit more of his... Like, if you're giving me backstory, that's fine, but I want the full explanation. I know he was kind of toying between the two. You know, we've seen a little bit of who Geto was throughout the last 5 episodes, but at the same time, I didn't see him, you know, going that direction. It seemed like he went into that direction overnight. Yes, it seemed like he was toying with it for a little while, being that this is like 1 year after, you know, the incident. But Tengen apparently that they found him a vessel anyway. So apparently there was another vessel or a backup or a new one was born and he was stable. So honestly, it doesn't even matter that she died. You know, I mean, it probably does to Geto. That might have been the turning point for him right there. But at the end of the day, it ultimately does not really matter. Harley Quinn Futurama, let's talk about that real quick. So Harley Quinn got dumped all at once. I think what I want to do with that is instead of full-blown reviews like I'm doing right now with Jujutsu Kaisen, I think I'm going to do short videos because the Bleach videos, those 2-3 minute long videos, seem to be doing a heck of a lot better than my reviews right now. I still need the reviews for time because I have my 1,000 subscribers, but I am trying to get up to that 4,000 hour mark. And right now, I am really not anywhere near it. I have over 700 videos, and I can't hit 4,000 hours. It kind of baffles me. But maybe if a handful of you could just put my anime playlist, because every time I do an anime video, it goes in the anime playlist, put that bad boy on autoplay for the day, and let me rack up some hours, that would be fantastic. Other than that, thank you for watching. Hit that subscribe button on the way out, and as always, have a good one.